Hello and welcome to another episode of SU, which is Sports Entertainment Weekly. We are back after a small hiatus, which is like too many hiatuses. I think we have had more retirements than Shahid Afridi or anybody else in the game. So this is going to be a late show, and we are trying to be more regular around this time. And we will speak about everything cricket that's happened in the week, or even much before that, or whatever, or whenever some sport happens, or whenever we feel like talking. But we are going to be, keeping this as a late night show, and we will try to cover as much as possible from the world of cricket, not the world of sports, but the world of cricket. Today we have Rahan, Dibbly Dobbler with me, myself, Kandal, and we will definitely have a lot of things to talk about the Ashes opener at Perth. The West Test, I think, thankfully, it was not the wet test. It was dry as hell, and I think it just ended in 2 days. We are speaking on the third day of the test, probably, and
Yes, so dry. The spinners
there
must have come
is
into play, right?
going to be. I think it went to the extent that Nathan Lyon, who usually is very good at Perth, didn't come into the equation at all. And they are discussing dropping Nathan Lyon for the next test. So
Actually, I'm
it's
sorry,
going
I
to be an all
disagree.
seamer, all pace attack from both sides.
I disagree completely. Nathan Lyon had a valuable contribution. He batted 21 balls. He bowled only 12, but he batted 21.
Yeah,
That's more than England's top order.
no, absolutely. Uh, let's get to it. Let's dissect this. I mean, firstly, what the hell just happened, right? So it is not one of those 2 day, 3 day test matches that we have witnessed back in the day in one of those pink ball tests where Stark just blows off the opposition and things like that. Or it is not one of those test matches which happen in the subcontinent where it is a rank square turner where you know um, uh, 20 wickets just go off in the first 2 3 sessions, and then you have the test match done in 2.5 days. This is totally, I don't know what to call it. This is a test match where things were looking like, okay, even Stevens at the end of 2 innings. And then suddenly one team committed suicide. They did some sort of a harakiri, and then the game was over in the next session as if it was a different batting track altogether.
There's a word for it, word for that harakiri now. I think the Webster dictionary now calls it Bazball. Did my joke just fall through?
Sorry, Rahan, you are cutting out a bit, so I didn't hear you clearly.
I said,
Yeah, I didn't
there's
hear you
a
clearly. You said something about Webster Dictionary, and I, I hope not
that
Bo
harakiri
Webster
has a
Dictionary,
word.
but yeah,
That
go for
harakiri
it.
has a word now. There's a word for that harakiri. It's called Bazball. The the period of stupid play that costed them the test match. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think there's no other way to put it. Okay, I do disagree. I
yeah.
don't
No,
think
I
it's
think
just because of stupid batting though. I don't think it's just because of basketball. The pitch, of course, plays a part. Like you can't have a cricket match without a pitch playing a part in it. Without the pitch, I don't think this test match would have ended in 2 days. Uh, like I think
yeah,
so.
no, definitely. I think let's probably I'll probably start with things. There are a few things that I really want to discuss and get your views on. Probably I'll start with this. Good toss to win for England. I think anybody would have batted first at Perth, given the history recently. And Steve Smith himself said that he would have gone for batting as well, as soon as the toss was won. And I think, as usual, there was a good start. Mitch Stark, first over, match made in heaven. So I think no complaints. Zach Crowley got a pair, all done. Then I think Australian bowlers, they did great by getting England bundled out for 172 odd, right? So I think the batters, the English batters, given the pitch, It was doing a bit, let's be honest, but it was not unplayable because the shot selection, I think, was really pathetic from England. Ridiculous stroke play. They were chasing balls which were fourth stump lines. Thirdly, the game awareness. Like you have a tail ender batting with you, someone like Jamie Smith coming in. He probably could have taken his time, maybe looked for those loose balls, and then take a single of the fourth or the fifth ball of the over, and then go for the kill in the next over, right? So instead of that, he was probably just playing into the trap. There were like three, four fielders on the square leg position, and this guy just went to pull one off Mitchell Stark or I don't know, Doggett. Or it just straight into the hands of the fielder, and that could have been an additional 50 runs, right? So it could have been 220.
More importantly, I think more than the 220. Okay, I think there's something wrong with the video, but yeah, to the viewers, more importantly, I think more than the 220 fact out there, it would have delayed Australia's batting. Like when Australia came to bat. Hello. Okay, I hope you can hear me. So I was just adding on to
Yeah,
your
I
point,
just
and
lost out.
it wasn't just
Hmm.
about the 220 that England could have potentially scored. It's the fact that they could have delayed the Australian batters' entry point, and they could have had. So we saw like the pitch did get easier to bat in, and it wasn't just this time as well. Last year during the BGT, the pitch does get easier to bat. If only England bided their time, if they could have
Yeah.
been slightly better with their shot selections, they would have had a much better third innings where they didn't bundle out for 164. More than the 164, they got bundled out in 35 overs. But
Yep.
but in the defense, like in both England and Australia batters' defense, so we were looking at Crickwiz, the pitch difficulty. And before that, I'd like to add a bit of context to the pitch, how Perth behaves. So Himanish Ganju, to anybody who's on Twitter, you probably know him. He worked with the Indian men's team uh, during our very successful 2024 T20 World Cup campaign and a very good 2023 World Cup campaign as well. Uh, so what happens in Perth is you don't get extra pace. Once the ball hits the pitch, you actually lose pace, but what you get is more bounce because of that
Yeah.
extra bounce that you get, that extra bounce. So if you expect a ball to pitch till here, in Perth it'll bounce till here, an average ball. Uh, so if it pitches here, it'll bounce till here, basically. So, yeah. So because of that, batters are hurried in their shots more than the pace. Like even if you bowl a bouncer, bouncers are surprising not because it's fast. Bouncers are usually slow. They take the longest time to get to you, but it's the bounce that surprises everybody. And bounce is one of the most difficult things to face in cricket. I think the biggest weapon somebody like Glenn McGrath had in his arsenal was his bounce. It surely wasn't his express pace when Steve Waugh could outpole him in terms of pace. So bounce really does make life difficult for a batter. And if we look at test averages uh, over the years, I think South Africa has had the worst test average, like batting average for batting batters, and it is because of the extra bounce. And Perth, much like that, have this extra bounce where the Australian batters and the England batters were hurried a little bit in their shots. Like, for example, a Smith and Labuschagne, it's not that they couldn't play their strokes, and it was genuinely difficult. And England bowled some excellent lines. Jofra Archer was like breathing fire in his first spell. Like, I think that's one of the best fast bowling spells that I've seen in English
I think every
uh,
every single English, yeah,
seamer. Yeah, they were just on
I think
point.
probably the
Archer,
best English attack. Yeah, I've
yeah,
never seen an England attack like that in Australia ever. Even in the days of Matthew Howard or Steve Harmison or Flintoff or Simon Jones or whoever, I don't think Australians ever felt threatened, or rather battered, or hit in the arm, elbow, here, there,
I think another example of
rocked
this was
on the
Stephen
helmet,
Finn.
grill, everywhere.
An example of this was Stephen Finn when he toured Australia for the Ashes. He
Yeah,
surprised them with a bounce, and England had one pacer who could do that. Now they had a lineup of pacers who could do this. Bryden Cars,
yeah.
Mark Wood is just. I know he didn't get as many wickets, but it was
Mark
hostile
Wood.
bowling. Like it didn't seem
Yeah.
like you could
No, I
survive out
think
there. And
there was a lot of mention of there was a lot of mention of Douglas Jardine and the bodyline series during the match, the course of the match. I think commentators casually were calling out the bodyline series every now and then while the English bowling attack was on. I think it was pretty relentless, hostile bowling is what I would say. Like
they had
absolutely
pace
no
batters.
space given for any of the Aussie batters to even settle down.
Agreed. And it's the third innings where like the complete mishap happened, right? Like even in the first innings, I know
Yeah.
Stark got a seven.
No,
He
before
was
even
brilliant.
we get there, before even we
And
get there,
so I was saying Stark seven for like it was a brilliant spell. I really enjoyed that spell to Root and Stokes. And I think that's the best he bowled in the match. Outside of that, like you could really question the wickets that he got. Like Stark himself would be happy
yeah,
with some of the way he got those
yeah,
wickets, and same for Ben Stokes' fifer. Like some of those balls had
yeah,
no like you shouldn't have been out to those balls, but it is what
yeah,
it is.
exactly. I think ridiculous stroke making. I think couple of balls, really wicket taking balls, and the pitch also assisted a bit, which is why I think the other batters who came in panicked and they thought the only way to combat the pitch was to go cross batted or play their shots and take bigger risks. And I think that's where they made an error of judgment and bad shot selection as a result. Right, like you called out some of those because they panicked because they thought that okay, this pitch is going to misbehave at any given point in time. So it's better to score runs, go for the runs, and they started attacking for no reason, even when the ball was really good. And they chased, they went wild, and got out to really bad balls too. So I think that's part of the reason. I think that's another reason why even someone who was actually bowling good, like Scott Boland, he was actually good, but he was thrown away from his line and length because they were attacking him right from the first ball in the
And
first
the
innings.
first innings, I think the playbook Fox has this playbook that they present for batters, and it did say that it's better to go slightly fuller to these batters, and I don't think
Hmm,
Boland looked very comfortable going fuller.
yeah,
It didn't seem like his natural length. He is just
it
much
it
better when
wasn't.
he's hitting the hard length. Yeah, and I think that
Yeah,
kind of constitutes for what his figures were in the end of the first innings. And I think Brandon Doggett on debut had a brilliant first couple of overs, or
yeah.
especially the first ball, that one that just swung back in. I've heard of
I
his
think he almost got a wicket. He almost got a wicket with that one. Yeah,
I've heard of his outswinger being dangerous, and I was expecting this world class outswinger first up, and then it just swung back in. That was a beautiful ball to watch, and yeah, I mean England did like hit him a bit in his later overs, but nonetheless, good debut in the context of the game.
yeah. No, I think definitely good debut. Much better than what I've seen in the previous ones of other promising fast bowlers coming into Australia. Other than the quartet, of course, these are like succession planning, right? So you had Jai Richardson, Kane Richardson, and all those guys.
Murray
Who
and
else? Like
James
Spencer
Patterson.
Johnson, yeah,
Yeah,
James Pattinson, and all those guys in the past 10 years who have made debuts at different points in time. But I think of or Jackson Bird, for example, and you know, of all those people, I think Sean Abbott also included. I think I would say Brendan Doggett looked really comfortable in his skin. He looked really mature for a debut test. He was ready to take the batters on. He was ready to bowl. So I think very promising start to his career.
I mean
Uh,
he is
Now
31. When
we
we say
spoke about
succession plans and all that,
Australia's first
it makes him
innings,
sound
England's first
young.
innings.
It makes him sound young, but he is 31.
Yeah,
Let's not forget that either.
absolutely. I think both
Yeah, Jake
Exactly,
Weatherall
both the
is.
debutants for Australia. I think they are not young in the sense of age, but definitely, yeah. Yeah, Weatherall is also 31. He is definitely a late debutant, just like how Matthew Hayden and others were inducted into the Aussie Test team. So hopefully
As it
they will have a
traditionally
good
is.
6, 7 years of career. But yeah, no, I think I just want to go back to the chat about Australia's first innings and Usman Khwaja's absence. Like, what was that? And I think there's a lot of criticism. There's a lot of mockery of the way Usman Khwaja trained before the match and came up to the match, and all this nitpicking started the moment he was absent. Had he just shown up, or had he not gone for a long break before the end of the last innings, I think all the golf and other things wouldn't have come out crawling from the carpet, right? So
I think it's
I
Justin
think
Langer PR.
big error in judgment, and probably they didn't see Mitchell Stark and Doggett. Sorry, I heard just Justin Langer. Can you come
I
back
said it's probably Justin Langer
once
PR
more
working
on
against
that?
Raja.
No, I think this time there was no need for a PR against Khwaja. I think one, he's not been in the greatest of forms over the last 12 months or more. I think he has carried the top order for a long time, and he's pretty stable. He has done great for Australian cricket over the last 5, 7 years, especially after the Langer or during and after the Langer era. I think when he got his second chance, he just grabbed it. Most of the places he was playing the proper second fiddle to David Warner's aggression at the top. The moment David Warner retired, the question always was as to who will play the yang part of the yin yang between David Warner and Usman Khwaja. But I think he has probably had some 5 or 6 opening partners over the last 12 months, or sorry, 20 months, whatever. Sam
Yeah,
Constas and Nathan
yeah,
McSweeney.
definitely.
But every single time, what I've noticed is that I'm just connecting the dots now, back in hindsight. He's probably thrown the debutant to the wolves. So it's really amazing that he doesn't take strike against some of these bowlers who could do a lot and get a wicket of the first over. So I don't know what to say of it, but I just want to say one thing: thank you, Khwaja, for all the services to Australian cricket so far. And probably I would like to not see him in the international circuit from now. I think someone should just come in. It could be Travis Head and Weatherall opening, just like the last innings that we saw.
I think he still plays in the subcontinent though, right? One of the better batters in spin. If they come touring India, you reckon they'll drop him?
Um, See, if you ask me what the Australian selectors would do, I would say that they will probably play it the safest. They will not drop him. They will go with Khwaja until 2026, 2027, whatever that timeline is. And I think that's the mistake that they did even with David Warner. And of course, David Warner was calling the shots at some point, dictating his retirement date and all those things. When he should have ideally retired like 12 months back, and someone probably might have earned that experience while that period was going on, right? So even the WTC final, we could have had an experienced opener who probably played like 6 or 7 test matches under their belt, rather than having someone really new. So I think all these things probably um, right right now just hindsight talk. But Australian selectors, they are never known to take really big risks.
Yeah,
Of course, they have taken risks like Sam Constas and some others from time to time, but they wouldn't really disturb a settled lineup. They'll probably go with a Manas Labuschagne for an opening slot than going for a specialist opener without experience. I'm really glad they went with Jake Weatherall, specialist opener, instead of doing with Marnus once again, because they have already tried Marnus, Smith, others for the opening slot. It didn't work. Clearly didn't work. And I really hoped that Smith as an opener would work, but clearly that was probably just very short-lived, as we saw.
yeah.
Um,
It did work
but
after
but I
one
think
one
Khwaja's
or
time is
two
done, not
tests.
just because he's taken a
Go on.
Sorry, I think we lost each other at that point.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just making a very bad joke. Like you remember Smith saying like it worked after one test, and after four tests he had an average of like 60 or something, and he was bragging that. And after 10 tests, it didn't seem to work.
Yeah. I, I fully get it. Like, yeah, I think it really needed someone who has that experience of opening, to see off the new ball, play that ball, make it soft, make it old, and then pass it on to Marnus and Smith at number three and number four. I think we need that kind of a person. And Usman Khwaja, of course, to be fair to him, he did his part. Now he's 39, man. Come on. I mean, if he really played well, right now he's getting out of balls in ways that he's not really looking comfortable. Over the last few matches, Usman Khwaja hasn't really looked his part. I mean, let's be honest, it's not like him in the past where he would probably take 20 balls to get settled and then slowly he will play a pull shot to get off the mark and then he starts looking comfortable. Then he would go at around 60 strike rate. So that's the Usman Khwaja that we know. That he's of
He
course
hasn't
not
had
David
a
Warner or Travis Head who will go.
he hasn't had a significant score outside of like the subcontinental either, right? I know he had a double century in Sri
Exactly,
Lanka,
exactly.
one half
Yeah, yeah,
century in
yeah,
PGT as well, if I remember correctly. But outside of
yeah,
that, I don't remember any significant scores in the recent past, at least.
exactly.
Time's up.
Yeah.
He did a good
No,
job.
I
Like
think
there was a period
that's
of time where there was a 3 years in the post pandemic time where Dimut Karnaratne, Usman Khawaja, and Rohit Sharma were only the stable openers going around,
correct.
and
Correct.
yeah, all three.
Yeah,
I
all
should
three
say,
now totally in decline. And I think it's Usman Khwaja's time as well. His
yeah,
time is done.
I think Khawaja
Of
should drop
course,
himself.
yeah, I think he should drop himself. To be, I mean, he should be really fair to the others who are knocking on the door
Much
because
like the other opener.
people say that there is not much of a crowd who's right now queuing up for the opening slot, but I feel they do. I mean, there is Sam Constas. Of course, he's a little out of form in the Shield. He's trying his best. Then there is Nathan McSweeney, who I feel had a really unfair start to his Test career. He was thrown to the wolves again. I mean, against the best fast bowler of this generation, probably, Jasprit Bumrah, straight away, and you expose him to that and judge him based on that, and then you drop him like a few Test matches later. That's
Yeah,
really
one or
unfair
two
on me,
test matches
Nathan.
later.
Yeah, like Nathan McSweeney, I think definitely deserves a second chance. He is a quality player, and then you have someone like Travis Head, Jake Weatherald, these guys. So the opening slot, of course, has a lot of contenders. The reason I also say Khwaja should go and sit out is because the Australian selectors have been adamant that they need Cameron Green. But for me, Cameron Green shouldn't be in the team at the cost of Bo Webster, who is right now in red hot form. In international cricket, I think very few people who have played their first few tests look as settled and reliable as Bo Webster. Like you can trust him to make around 30, 40 runs, stay there for a bit, and steer the ship ahead. So I think that's also why Khwaja should go.
That's fair, but there was this going on to the larger debate of people wanted Head to open because of his century, but then I would say that's resource mismanagement to a certain extent because against the old ball, against a tiring attack, once like Smith and Labuschagne have like blunted the living bejesus out of that ball, and like they leave, and like tire bowlers out. And once that
Yeah,
happens, you want somebody like a Travis Head to come in at five and just do what Travis Head does. And he's not like you don't want a Travis Head exposed to a Jofra Archer like with a new ball against a left-hander in the opening spell. You would ideally want him against a tired Jofra Archer. Like to be very honest, the Australian second innings, I don't think the England bowlers had the same steam that they did. Archer was bowling in 135s, and like Atkinson had, I don't, I, no, I think Atkinson or Cars, one of them had slowed down as well. The pace wasn't the same, and it did seem like a sort of tiring attack. But again, props to Head for the way he played. That isn't enough of a
yeah,
reason to win a 69 ball
yeah.
century. But
No,
yeah, I
I
think
heard we'll come to Head's innings. We'll
yeah,
definitely come to Head's innings and speak a lot more about it. But While we are
The
at
thing
it,
is,
I just wanted to say that Head put his hand up to open. That's the story that comes from the dressing room. So apparently they had a conversation that Usman Khwaja, obviously because of back spasms and other golf-related issues, he couldn't open. And they had a chat.
he was diving for a
Uh,
catch.
yeah, and they were actually, in fact, in a conversation with Nathan Lyon to see if he wants to open. Can you believe it? Like you have 200 to
That has to
chase.
be a joke, though, right? No, but that was a joke. I
No, I
think
think
Smith was joking there.
I'm 100% sure. No, that was actually seriously in contention because this is something which even I was actually just listening to um, Bharat Sundaresan, Channel 7, and former Crick Buzz. I think he also mentioned, I mean, he's a credible source in Australian journalism and sports journalism in general. So uh, he also mentioned that they were seriously speaking about Nathan Lyon opening that day because um, of whatever reasons, they didn't want Steve Smith or Manas again to be exposed to the opening
Yeah.
bowling attack, and they wanted to just blunt the ball a bit. So they wanted Nathan Lyon or someone like that who had a little bit of night watchman or night watching experience in them to open the batting. And I think it was at that point in time when Travis had put his hand up and said, "Okay, guys, just stop the nonsense. I'm going. If everyone's okay, I'm going, and I'll take it head on." So I think and head on he did, right. So it was one whirlwind innings, but I think what really stood out for me was how he just deflated the English bowlers after a while. Like he probably took a few balls to get started, but then once he started, he didn't stop.
I
How would
think
you describe that innings?
uh, Travis Head. There's no better way. Rishabh Pant, Travis Head. Then there's like two batters involved. Harry Brook to a certain extent. Harry Brook, by the way,
Yeah,
I don't think we gave enough props to that during England innings. He played a decentish hand. He played a pretty decent hand. When everybody else looked uncomfortable, he went at almost a run a ball 50. And again,
yeah,
speaking of run a ball 50, that's what Travis Head was at almost.
yeah,
He was at almost a run a ball 50, and then in the next 18 balls, the next three-ish overs, he doubles it. Gets a century.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
Stokes' magic hand, when the team needs him, he'll get a wicket. Yeah, he get it for
Yeah.
four funds.
No, no, I think absolutely. I think people always remember Travis Head as this one match or once in a blue moon wonder or sort. Not a one match wonder, but but crunch matches, the clutch player. Everyone talks about the World Cup, the WTC final, the
We
other
don't talk
major
about.
matches there. Yeah, and I
We
think
don't talk
they
about that.
always talk. Yeah, I know you don't talk about November 19th, and we are in the business end of November at this point in time. I think there is something about November payroll date and Travis Head. There is some
Yeah,
paycheck issues there. So I think the other, uh, like you mentioned, Harry Brook played a brilliant innings as well, and was responsible to an extent for this total coming to this extent. The problem is we'll discuss about baseball definitely for sure. The problem is that the English batters they get their starts and they just keep doing what they are doing with no respect to the ball or the conditions. They just go on with their philosophy. I think it has come to a point where people have started to believe, even fans, hardcore fans of English cricket, they started to believe that these guys are just an arrogant bunch living in their own bubble. Not these are not accusations which are behind closed doors anymore. People are discussing out in the open. There are former cricketers, there are former
yeah,
legends who are calling out that yeah, Jeff Boycott. There is Michael Vaughan. There is Nas and Michael Atherton. These guys are openly calling out now. I mean, earlier they used to say that, yeah, there are pluses and minuses of the baseball approach. Some days you win, some days you lose, and things like that. But now I think everyone's had enough. They're almost like to the point where They're like, okay, this is getting really ridiculous and embarrassing for our cricket. Uh, you guys need to make up your mind. It's You can't lose and say that you're still entertaining, or live in your own bubble and not willing to learn or not willing to adapt. Even if you look at Stokes' press conference, you will probably see him really defensive about what they did.
I think to be fair, that's kind of how they've always been. Like they've openly, like I don't wanna, like I'm not condoning it. Like Stokes and Baz, they've always been about having this ultra positive mindset. Like there's nothing negative that really happened, and like it's okay, whatever happened. Like we can bounce back sort of attitude. So it seems delusional at this point, but borderline delusional to be fair. I don't think it's just positivity. But that being said, you were now not gonna get better unless you acknowledge there's a problem, and the problem with their dressing room is they just don't seem to acknowledge the problem over there. Like they could have, like we look at the England third, the final innings, right? Like Gus Atkinson and Brian Cars put on decent partnership. I think was getting easier
Yeah,
towards the end.
yeah, yeah.
Not a single person recognized that, and they were just playing their shots. We saw the England Lions game. They were playing. Everybody was just holding out to the deep in a test match. How many batters get out like that? Your tailenders can get out like that when they're trying to like batting for a declaration. Your top order bats don't get out that way. That's not how a test match is supposed to work. But yeah,
Yeah.
ultra positive. Yeah, I'm happy with them
So
if they think it.
yeah. See, I'll be very honest here. I love baseball when it really is bringing life to a dead test match, and especially these flat wickets in Pakistan, or some of the test matches where the opponent is actually trying to not really be in the game or dictate it. I think baseball
The stroke
really definitely
declaration in
takes.
Pakistan is amazing. It made the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, and it's great. Not just great viewership. It's probably takes a lot of guts and sportsmanship to actually do that. So I think that way I'm a big fan of baseball. But it got to a point right now. Sometimes when they lose, you also see the bad side of it, the ridiculousness of it, the brainlessness of it. Like the commentators called out multiple times, brass ball with brains is what they need. I think uh, that's something which probably Travis Head showed us, and he probably showed the baseballers what baseball was. And people do think that Travis Head is like this, uh, just a basher, just doesn't have much of a technique and things like that. But that's not true. He actually looks for the balls that he wants to hit, and he's got a pretty good technique, hand-eye coordination, which is underrated, which is probably on par with, let's say, someone like Virender Sehwag or a Steve Smith.
I think okay, not Steve Smith, but yeah, there was that one shot he played where he just, I think it was against Brighton Cast, where he just backed away and like he created room and like he created elevation from by just going back and away, and he just lifted that ball over covers. That was, I think, mind-boggling. Like I don't know how you pull that off. Like extremely good hand-eye coordination, of course, and you're not gonna have a 43 average in Test cricket without having a decent defense and
Exactly.
without having good trust in your game. The average is 43, strikes at 68, 70. Pretty decent. And I think he's played these kind of knocks consistently before as well in these kind of matches. I think the Australia South Africa series, both home and away, Travis had played like a brilliant role in both the places where he was just coming in and breaking games open with his batting. And it does make for better test match viewing. But we say Bazball lost, but did Bazball really lose? Cricket Australia lost $3 to $4 million, I think, from ticket sales from day three, four,
Yeah,
five. Who is the real loser here? The English
I think
cricket team get 3 days of sightseeing and they don't lose
this
money.
is this is England's way of bankrupting Cricket Australia so that their infrastructure goes bad. Or this is England's long-term strategy to earn, maybe in, for good,
They've
like
gone
make
from
Cricket
moral victories
Australia
to
bankrupt.
financial victories.
Yeah, they're probably targeting a financial bankruptcy for Cricket Australia, like Cricket West Indies, and then see the mighty Aussies decline. Probably that's the ploy.
Playing the
With
long game. We are not able to comprehend what Bazball's plans are. I think us
yeah,
mere mortals can never understand it.
exactly. Baseball is probably not a 5 year, 10 year project. It's probably a 20, 30, 40 year project.
But on a serious note, though, I do think we will see a change in how cricket broadcasting is involved because there is obviously a lot of loss, like $3-4 million
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
huge amount, and that's just from ticket revenue. And you look at how broadcasting works, the ads that are played, they
Mm.
generally take out space for 5 days, and you're supposed to repeat it a certain amount of times, and none of that
Yeah, yeah,
happens. The test match ends in 2 days, so
yeah, yeah.
and
And they
that
also need to refund spectators who
yeah.
might have gotten tickets for these days. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think from a financial point of view, these shorter test matches are getting more crowds. It's getting more eyeballs. Like if we compare the India South Africa game and the England Australia game, there were more eyeballs, even from a neutral fan. There were more eyeballs than the England
yeah,
Australia
yeah,
game.
yeah.
Like, I love South Africa and I love India as well. And I wasn't watching that game. I was paying more attention to the England Australia game because things were happening more often. So it does get more eyeballs, but if it's only happening for 2 days, I think broadcasting value and everything will have to be revalued. I think there will be a sort of landscape shift in that region of how cricket's viewed or test cricket's viewed. And I think because broadcasters have played a huge role in cricket, let's not forget that. I think like the ODIs exist today because of broadcasters. Like 60 over cricket became 50 over
Yeah.
cricket to a certain extent. Lighting is another reason, but broadcasters, our color jerseys, all of this.
Kerry Packer.
Yeah, Kerry Packer and his World Series, the color jerseys, and color jerseys wasn't a thing that was accepted by the ICC. Teams adopted it later on, and I think we
Absolutely.
will have a Kerry Packer sort of moment, but I don't think it's because of one person. But we will see a landscape shift in cricket broadcasting and ads very soon.
No, definitely. I think, yeah, speaking of which, I just want to slowly segue into the space of 2 day, 3 day test matches in Australia and SENA countries, and 2 day, 3 day test matches in the subcontinent being billed as doctored pitch driven results. So let's focus on that point of view because I'll tell you the socials were flooded with Indian pundits and cricketers, including former legends like Ashwin and others calling out the hypocrisy in 2 day, 3 day test matches in England or Australia, and the subcontinent test matches, which probably end in the same time frame, and then being blamed as poor pitches. So, what's your take on it?
Okay, so I do think there is a double standard that exists. Like I'm not for the pitches that we see in India, increasingly so. I'm not for that pitches, but I do definitely see a double standard that exists, and some of the calling out of the Australian pitches seems performative, like from some the journalists, like they just want to show that they're not biased, and they're like, "Oh no, see, 19 wickets fell over here, etc." I think it deserves a lot more nuanced analysis because I don't think the Perth pitch was as bad as a rank turner would have been. Because honestly, it would have gotten better for batting in day three and day four before it got worse. And I think even in India, like we've had certain pitches like that. Like remember 2021 Chennai,
Yeah, yeah,
that England India Test series. Rohit got that
yeah,
161,
yeah.
which everybody said so difficult to bat. But Ashwin also got 100 in the same game. Like because
Exactly.
batting does get easier, and I think the
Got
slow
easier.
turners,
Yeah.
the pitch breaks on day four, day five. That is the kind of pitches that India need. That is the kind of pitches that we thrived on for the longest time. And the rank turners just reduce the gap. I know you have something to say on it, and I'll add to that later. So please go on.
See, I love the Chennai pitch where Ashwin got 100. It got easier to bat on. I love
How biased
pitches
the
with.
best
I think I love the pitches which actually progressively take the game ahead. And test match is all about that, the ebbs and the flows. as they say. And I felt that with regard to the comparison between Perth and, let's say, Kolkata, or Perth and some other ranked earners in India, I think it's totally stupid because people might not have really gone through the entire Perth Test match, the 2 days of it. I'm sure that half the people who commented on it, including some of the commentators and ex-players, they might not have even watched the match, because everyone who's probably watched the match would understand that the pitch had very little to do with what happened. It it was 70% English cricket team and
60-40.
30% pitch.
I'll give you
Yeah,
60-40.
it's probably a 60-40. But 60 is too much for a pitch to be blamed, is what I'm trying to say. But I do agree that sometimes there is hypocrisy and unfair comparisons. But I would probably want a pitch to be competitive where um, bowlers, like proper bowlers, full-time bowlers, are able to take wickets. I don't want someone like, let's say, Root or Travis Head to get a 7 for in India
I know
on
you
a
want to say
turner.
Michael
And
Clark. I know you want to say
yeah,
Michael Clark. Just say it.
of course, Michael Clark getting a 6 for 9, and who's that guy, the Samit Patel getting a 10 for and things like that. I really, really don't think those are the pitches that India deserves or Indian audience deserve. And I
Did you
think
mean
India is a
Jas
much
Patel?
Better team. Sorry?
Did you mean a Jas Patel, by the way?
Oh yeah,
Like,
sorry. Ajas Patel, not Samit Patel. Yeah, Ajas Patel.
yeah, Jas Patel's a decent bowler, by the way.
Yeah. He is
He's
a decent bowler,
not
but
in the
not the
league.
10. He's not a Michael Clark. Okay, he's Michael Clark is a part timer. Joe Root is a part timer. I think probably yeah. I shouldn't have mentioned Ajas Patel in the same breath as Michael Clark,
Yeah.
but I take that back. But what I'm trying to say is that I really don't want some you know random stranger walking into the team to just come and turn it from day one and get all Indian wickets. India is a much better team than that at home. They can easily win. They have two top class spinners. It just only goes on to probably question the greatness of Ashwin or Jadeja in India. They are already good. The problem is that when Joe Root or Michael Clark or let's say Jason Krejza or Nathan Horace or Colin Miller, or you can name some random name, Dom Bess, or whoever that is, and then when they get 5 first and 6 first in India, it just goes on to um, understate or
Diminish the
underrate,
achievements.
yeah,
Yeah.
diminish the achievements that Ashwin and Jadeja have done. It just goes on
Yeah.
to say, that gives probably more fodder for critics of Ashwin and Jadeja, because that's like saying, okay, you guys have someone who's taken 500, 600 wickets, uh, and that's only because you have dust bowls in your place. And that's not
And
fair on
I think,
Ashwin or Jadeja either.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And I want to highlight like two central characters in the reason for the square turners in India. And I think it's ABD Villiers and Joe Root. uh, like ABD Villiers in the 2015, like, he was coming off like some monster form. Like
yeah,
he had that innings versus Mitchell Johnson where nobody was able to put bat to ball,
yeah,
and he was playing Mitchell Johnson. He was playing
yeah,
Mitchell
yeah.
Johnson, and like world class batter, one of the best in the world. Like he put that fear in India that you need rank turners to get somebody like that out. And in the 2021 series, where Joe Root scored that double century in the very first match of the series. I think that kind of put the fear in India as well. Like we have somebody of Root's class, he might outbat us. And let's not forget, we had like Pujara, Kohli, and Rahane, who weren't having the greatest of returns from a batting perspective at that point of time as well. So whether we be able to replicate that
Just,
kind of
just,
ruling,
just to add in there, Michael Clark himself was a great player of spin. In fact, he
yeah,
had 100 in India on debut.
yeah.
Yeah,
Of course, you want to mention that. Yeah. Like people like these, like kind of made India think that you cannot win a test match unless you have like a dust bowl. But I think this is where we thrive. We let the opposition score 400, 450, etc. On day one, day two, and like they think they're ahead, and then like boom, Ash and Jadeja in the fourth innings or the third innings just like blow them apart. Jadeja, what
Yeah,
averages 16 something in fourth innings?
yeah.
Beast. And like we talk about India's
I,
problems
I,
in
I
dismissing
I think
tailenders.
I think in many ways, like Jadeja probably surpasses Ashwin in the fourth inning, not just by average. Yeah,
Fourth inning, too much of no. I still think Ashwin can hold his own. Like he's pretty damn good. The both days, but yeah, Ashwin. I mean, purely as a spinner, I rate Ashwin higher. But as a
of
cricketer,
course.
the all-round value that Jadeja provides, I think there's like Kapil Dev is the thing that comes closest to Jadeja in India.
Yeah, yeah,
Nobody else is providing that
definitely.
balance. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the current test match that India was South Africa. South Africa's insane batting depth. They got 489.
yeah.
Uh, During India's
Never
heyday,
saw that coming.
that's nothing for India. Huh? That's not enough in a pitch like that, especially if the pitch holds true, and I think it will. And if it doesn't break down, I think we're good. But again, the problem with is will be our batting. I don't know if we have the batters with the temperament to go score the double century like in the 2020 21. Oh wait, no, sorry, 2018 when South Africa came over when Rohit's first series as an opener. Either Rohit got a double century or Mayank Agarwal got a double century. We had that batters piling on those runs, and right now, like barring a Yashasvi Jaiswal, I don't see somebody else doing that, and I think that's what's most important in innings like this because we have unbelievable batting depth at home like a
Yeah,
Washington Soldier coming in at eight and Akshar Patel normally coming in at nine. Uh, like these are people who could bat five for other countries in India, and we have them coming in at nine. And yeah, nobody has been able to replicate that bowling depth with that spin quality. And yeah, we took it for granted for a long time, and I think that's very evident in the pitches that we produced. And hopefully, this even if we lose this test match, this is how it continues because this is how your batters are going to build confidence as well. Because our Ranji pitch is a kind of bowling friendly. There's too much grass on the wicket. They want to try and encourage bowling. That's not the way to do it. I disagree, but that's what they do. So we don't see a lot of these kind of scores. So these pitches are probably what's going to help India, and we have the spinners for it. Washington Sundar, he might not be an Ashwin yet, but he's been pretty good so far. Like once he starts varying his pace as well, slightly better, he gives it a bit more flight. There's like he is the Ashwin incumbent with that
yeah.
height, and he already gets a lot of drift. And we have Akshar
It's
Patel,
a
and we have
team. It's definitely a team with a lot of bench strength, like you're calling out, and definitely a team which is also in transition, given the exodus of some of these seniors batters, especially who have left the team. Um, where to for India from here? Uh, are you looking forward as an Indian fan? Are you looking forward to the WTC final yet? Or do you think it is an evolving team and it probably might be too early for us to call India's chances this WTC cycle?
2 points. I like South Africa more than I like India. So, uh, but yeah, as like from an Indian POV, uh, like honestly, I don't think we are going to make it to the World Test Championship final. We just don't have the pace talks for it, and we don't have a lot of home test matches. Like
Hmm.
there's this series, and after that, I think there's a one-off test with Afghanistan that may or may not happen. And in the whole of 2026, we don't have a single other home test. We're going out, we're touring outside, and it's difficult to win without proper pace bowling stocks. Bumrah is not going to play more than three test matches. How much are you going to rely on Siraj the workhorse? And I think we'll need that 2 3 year period to develop the fast bowlers that are there. And to be honest, like the depth isn't that great, quality and depth in our pace bowling department. We're great in a lot of other aspects, but pace bowling and apparently across formats we lack in that because the rising rising T20 stars or whatever
Yeah.
the new tournament is like we had the batting for it. I think the pace bowling is where we lost it, to be honest. And a brilliant game as well, super over, where we bowled a wide with 1 run to win. But yeah, uh, That being said, I think without a pace bowling stocks, we're not going to win abroad.
Yeah, no,
I think
definitely. I think
Kohli's,
pace is key. Pace is
yeah,
pace.
pace is pace here. Kohli's Tech's legacy
Yeah,
was built by that fast bowling cartel we had, like Ishant Sharma,
yeah,
Jasprit
yeah,
Bumrah, Umesh Yadav, Mohammad Shami, Siraj, who was in the wings. All of these acted as a proper fast bowling cartel, and they were producing performances abroad as well, and that helped us win.
yeah.
And
No, I
we have
think I
finished our
think
line.
tactically also sometimes I might question Kohli's on-field decisions during the course of the match and things like that. But I think what Kohli has done for Indian cricket will only become clearer and clearer as time passes. Because in my opinion, he's probably the best Indian Test cricket captain that probably sorry, the best Test cricket captain that India's ever had.
Absolutely.
I
I think
think
he's right up there on the world. I mean, of course, not tactically,
yeah,
but you look at the leaders that
exactly.
transform a
What
side, right? The
exactly?
like Ben
I'm talking
Stokes,
about someone like, let's say, an Alan Border, an Imran Khan.
great.
Someone of that caliber, Graham Smith. People who have really transformed sides. Of course,
Yeah,
if you look at tactically and strategically, you will always have contenders like Steve Waugh, Ricky Ponting, etc. But I'm talking about purely
Ricky
people
Ponting
who have
for
led.
Smith. Ben
Sorry,
Stokes
come
for all
again
the
on that.
cricket.
Yeah, yeah, Ben Stokes, of course. Um, so, in the sequence of where to's, where to for England from here, and England and baseball in general from here. Do you think they'll come back with the same avatar in the next Test match, or do you think there will be some lessons, some changes in the team? Zach Crawley with a pair, and does he really deserve a chance again? He's
I
probably
don't think
someone
Crawley
who's
should be
being,
dropped,
yeah,
but
Crawley cannot, yeah,
there seemed to be a niggle or
the,
something, right, with Crawley. He might sit out. I'm not
um,
sure.
not sure of that, but I think Crawley was picked purely. I mean, they have persisted with Crawley because they said that he's the Aussie conditions type player, and you
Yeah, he
need
does
Zach
average
Crawley in
40
the
in
team.
Australia.
Yeah,
Yeah, he,
uh,
he gave decentish starts. He played Pat Cummins and all well in the like against
yeah,
Australia in the last Ashes. So yeah,
definitely. But I think first over Mitch Stark is a different beast altogether. So maybe Ben Duckett takes the first over next time around. Um, where do you think Bazball goes from here, and where do you think Australia? I mean, Australia has won this Test match and in a big way, but I don't think everything is all right with the Australian team as well. If you look at the
mm,
both the sides, definitely a lot of work to do, both in terms of team selection. The batting order is chaotic for Australia. It's all over the place for both teams, both from a philosophical school of thought point of view and also from a selection point of view and also in terms of the form of some of the players, the key players.
and I think Australia's biggest headache is like I think Hazelwood might not be fit for the like they're talking potentially
Yeah,
the
they're
remainder
saying
of the
he
season.
might not be for the rest of the series.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's definitely
That's
a
big.
huge
That's
loss.
huge.
Yeah, one of the best bowlers
Yeah.
in the world. And Pat Cummins coming in will obviously strengthen their lineup. They will somehow want to play Bo Webster into the 11 by the end of the series. I don't think they want to drop Cam Green. Like for his short stay, Cam Green did look good in the first innings. And I think, I mean, obviously everybody sees the ceiling there. Of course, you can argue that he can go spend some time in the Shield and then come back. I'm okay either way, but I think he does deserve game time. Like talents like this, you're not gonna develop them more than a certain limit by playing Shield cricket. You want them to be blooded in by playing international cricket. So yeah, and I think that's the biggest selection headache in terms of the two fast bowlers. And I think yeah, they should be happy with Shoaib Bashir coming in as well. Okay,
Sorry,
but
I quite lost you there, Dibli
yeah,
Dobler.
I
Were
was
you
just saying like
mentioning Shoaib Bashir for that?
yeah, I was just saying Australia should be happy with Shoaib Bashir potentially coming in as well for England in one of the Test matches. But yeah, I think from an English perspective, I think they'll want to play a spinner somewhere. So Bashir might come in, and I honestly like Josh Tang a lot. Like there's somebody fan cricket on Twitter, like Bharat Ramraj. He's brilliant about bowling mechanic, biomechanics, and like talks about fast bowlers brilliantly. Somebody that people should follow and read about. Yeah, he talks about Josh Tung's wicket taking ability. Like he has this knack of producing wickets by producing decent deliveries. He's sort of that Mitchell Stark kind of
No,
bowler in the
definitely.
sense.
I think it's right up there in terms of strike rates. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Is a Mitchell Stark kind of bowler. Like he might go for a few runs, but he'll get you those wickets. Obviously, not to the quality of Stark, but I think he might come in for Atkinson at some point in the series as well. But yeah, and fitness a huge concern
Yeah.
for Archer and Markwood, by the way.
Definitely. I think one of the things that England probably missed.
Yeah,
No, I was saying that one of the major concerns for England getting into this test match was probably something which they realized in the second innings more than the first, because the first innings was pure brilliance from all of the fast bowlers. I think what England realized is the monotony or the lack of diversity that this four-man pace attack brings to the table. All four right arm fast bowlers, all four similar kinds uh, in terms of their pace. Uh, so I think it's probably something which they might look for in terms of getting variety. Um, Maybe Shoaib Bashir, like you called out, might just come in, step in, and it will be good for Australia. Shoaib Bashir is not a huge turner of the ball. He just hurries to the crease, and Australia have been playing bowlers like that pretty well. And we
he
got good
does
players of
have
spin,
Nathan
so we
Lyon
don't
like
really care
attributes.
unless it's
He
some.
does he has the Nathan like line like attributes, but he's nowhere near what a Nathan Lyon is. Like Lyon maybe like on a good day produces like one bad ball in like a in 4 overs, 5 overs. Sure, Bashir bowls two of them in 1 over. So
Yeah.
yeah, the gulf in quality is too much for Australia to be troubled by him, at least as of now.
No, definitely. I think so. I think for Australia, my 11 going into the Gabba would probably be Travis Head, Jake Weatherall. I still want Travis Head to open. I would say that because at number five, I know the impact he creates, but I feel like Bo Webster certainly deserves not to be dropped. I don't know where. I'm not saying he deserves a chance to be there in the team. I think he got dropped for no reason. He didn't do anything wrong after getting picked. I mean, never was any doubt about his capabilities. He was much better than Green was in his first 10, 15 test matches. So definitely very, very settled player. So I think Bo Webster, Green, maybe in the middle order just to strengthen that part. Alex Carey coming in there as well. Um, Usman Khwaja sits out. Probably we can't have the farewell that he deserves, but not everyone deserves a farewell as well. So it's totally fine. It's a team game. So you have Jake Weatherall, Travis Head, Manas Labuschagne, Smith, and then Webster, Green, Carey. Uh, there is a lot of talk of Nathan Lyon, you know,
Top
going
players.
out of the team for four fast bowlers, but in case, let's say, mid-Stark. There's also some news of Scott Boland getting a niggle. There's some news of mid-Stark, twisting his ankle during fielding yesterday. I saw him twist his ankle. So in case someone goes out, I feel like Australia should give a good chance to Michael Neser. And I think it's home, and he's a
Yeah,
Queensland guy. So Michael Neser should come in with the pink ball at some stage, even if he's a right-hand fast bowler. It's totally fine. Uh, and Nathan Lyon should also play because you want that variety in the Australian team. And I don't think Australia has ever dropped Nathan Lyon, uh, as far as
they
I
did.
could remember. Yeah,
They did, right? And
but
what's the last series they played? I can't remember. They did play a
yeah,
test match without line. Yeah.
I
But
think
again,
it was. But yeah,
if you're playing Webster, Webster can bowl spin. You can
Yeah, of course.
afford to not have line.
Yeah. So that's the 11 that I would go with, but plenty of time to think about. Thank you, England, for giving the extra three days. They got 2 weeks doing nothing, and probably they will probably have a lot of reflection. Maybe the 3 days of this test match they would spend on reflecting on who they really are, and then go on to play their practice games. I also
Golf.
heard from some of the media reports that the English players refused to play the England. I think the Lions game versus Australia, the Prime Minister's 11 in Canberra. So I think they are not going to be playing that. But of course, the English legends and other former players have been insisting that some of these players who are currently out of form need to really have their basics right, so they better go and play.
I
But
think
they
if
got
it were
plenty
up
of time
to
to
some
think
like
about.
people like Jeff, I think if it were up to people like Jeffrey Boycott, they like he'd probably send a few of these batters to club a great cricket, not even county.
Yeah, I think plenty of time, and I think Australia will also have a lot of time to think about whether Khwaja needs to be or doesn't need to be the team. And I think if Khwaja is really mature and selfless as he seems to be, he has been a team man. Let's be honest. He has done well for the team. He has saved test matches for Australia. He has done a lot. If he takes the right call, I think all the fans will also respect it. It's probably he has done his time. That's the point. So they have a lot of time on to the GABA pink ball test, but pink ball test also brings pink ball Mitch Stark,
Yeah,
who is equally or actually more dangerous with the pink ball. Um,
more.
any thoughts?
There's nothing equal about that. Stark with the pink ball is like Bumrah like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, but yeah, I think Nisa and Stark with the pink ball from either end would like. I think it'd be a proper nightmare for English batters.
Yeah, no, I
And
think I
I
think they
don't think
should drop Brendan Doggett for that, or Scott Boland for that matter. They wouldn't drop Scott Boland because he's now more tenured than others in the team. But ideally, Nisa should play. He deserves another. Yeah.
I would. But do you actually think like from the selector's POV, he's in the plans? Because like
He's
I
not
don't
even
feel.
in the consideration right now. To be honest, he came in as a substitute for Khwaja the other day, and that's probably the first time I saw him in years. Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, Australia should totally invest in the youngsters, Peter Siddle and Michael Nisa. I think they have a proper future. These two youngsters, 22-year-olds. But yeah, when is Siddle's birthday? Should we play him?
Ah, I think we may have a different hat trick this time. Mitch Stark
Yeah,
was on a hat trick I think last evening. He was probably on a hat trick the first ball of the match, the second innings of England.
I think we can make it up. But yeah, anyway, I think I'd have a pretty
But
similar league, but I don't
mm,
honestly see Kawaja being dropped for like after just one test. They probably give him two, three test matches, and after
there's
that,
a lot
if
of
he works,
public and media anger and what seems like an orchestrated PR campaign against Khwaja, but I fully think this time he deserves it.
for once, I do agree. But yeah, I don't think they're that like Australia that kind of risk takers to have a youngster in a pink ball test, especially. So maybe they
Correct,
give him the
correct.
one more chance. And from an English POV, I'd probably I'd still go with five seamers, not Bashir for Gabba.
Hmm.
But I'd play Josh Tang instead of Gus Atkinson. But yeah, otherwise pretty much same.
Okay. Exciting test match today, or whatever that was. I'm sure English fans are furious. It's a team which probably they looked up to for a long time in the build up to this Ashes. This is the first Bazball Ashes in Australia, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yes.
that's the reason for this whole build up, and it just all came crashing down because of the exact approach that had them build up to this. And I think for Australian fans, It's a transitionary era. I would say it's probably looking forward to a string of retirements in the next 12 months or so. Uh, Hoping that
By
some
this cycle,
youngster.
by this WTC cycle, I think we should see a lot of retirements, even for
Yeah,
New
it's
Zealand for
it's
that
going
matter.
to be 2007 for us all over again. It's like Glenn McGrath, Shane Warne, Justin Langer, Matthew Hayden,
John literally
Brett
won a World Cup that year, suffering from success. My dear Lord, these Australian fans.
but you know what, we had to actually go through the years after that, almost like 5-6 years after that, under Michael Clark's captaincy.
Oh no, you missed one World Cup in between and let somebody else win it. How sad.
I'm
Have
talking
some
about test
shame.
matches. So yeah, I
Okay,
think I think
even in test matches, what you let South Africa touch the mace for a few years, you let India touch the test mace for a few years, and all of a sudden, dear Lord, the standards that y'all hold your teams to.
it's unrealistic standards that we hold ourselves to. Compete harder, as they say. Anyway, great talking to you, Rahan, and thank you so much everyone for listening. We are really excited about the 4 test matches. Hopefully, they will last more than 8 days of test matches throughout the series. 4 test matches to come in this Ashes. Really looking forward to the Gabba next. Is it really happening at the Gabba? I think it's a renovated Gabba, I think, this time
Yeah,
around.
yeah, yeah.
Probably the last test match at the Gabba. We're not sure because of all the politics and everything that's going around with the Queensland Cricket Board and the Brisbane Stadium. So, um, just like how the Waka was retired, the Gabba might also get retired. So fingers crossed for that. But we'll see how it goes. But day night test match, Gabba, it's definitely going to be exciting ball movement and also baseball coming into play. Let's see how the English approach it. I'm really all excited. And we'll see you in another episode talking more cricket, whether it's the Ashes, baseball, or something else. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks.